Okay, guys, this is Talk to Miles V, and not ESO, as you can see. So, an update to everybody who followed me in ESO, which is pretty much everybody, and I think that's all 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 of y'all. But I haven't been playing ESO the last few weeks, probably the last 2, 3 weeks, because my finger has been killing me. I actually stopped playing World of Warcraft because of finger pain, and playing on a controller was considerably less painful. And then about 2 years ago, ESO started the
Yes,
whole light
please.
weaving thing, which I had no problem with initially, but progressively began to have more and more hand pain. And over, I don't know, the last year, the hand pain became pretty much unbearable. And so now I
Oh, I should not have used
during
that
this last
there.
PTS cycle was in so much pain that I came to the conclusion that I really had to stop trying to play ESO. Specifically, I could have played a tank. I didn't want to not be a DPS anymore. I didn't really like tanking ESO. I think it's pretty much the most boring team game possible, and I didn't want to make that switch. The thing that I liked in ESO was playing as an archer, and that's all I ever did, and so not being able to do that effectively due to hand pain kind of killed it for me. I'm looking forward to the possibility of going back to ESO one day, hopefully if my hand gets better, but at this point I need to take a significant break from it. One of the advantages of playing this game, World of Warcraft, is that I don't really need to use my trigger hardly at all if I don't want to. A lot of setups utilize the trigger heavily, but I specifically didn't want to use my right trigger, so I only use the right trigger for cooldowns. Or actually, I think I have my interrupts in my trigger, but I don't interrupt all that often because you just don't have to interrupt that often outside of PvP. I haven't been doing a lot of PvP in World of Warcraft yet. I don't know if I will, but this is the most current raid tier, the Lady Ashvane fight with my guild. Stands in bad. It's a great guild full of lots of cool people. We killed this boss in 2 attempts, I believe. The first attempt we got it really low, and the second attempt we beat it. It's on normal. Unlike ESO, normal's not like a brain dead facepalm, but it's still pretty easy compared to the other options. Rogue and Mythic are harder. So, I'm playing a warrior. Well, let me go over the fight real quick. We're trying to keep the boss out of the big blue circles, as you can see. There's the coral that spawns in some of those circles towards the middle of the room, keeping away from that. The boss will occasionally put bubbles on players. You can see them right there. When the bubble gets on a player, it eventually stuns them, makes them unable to move until the bubble is killed. So the DPS have to switch and burn the bubbles. The boss has a shield that you have to burn through before you do damage to her, and she refreshes. I believe the coral rocks strengthen the shield, but I don't remember. Their shield does 2 different AoEs. One's like a little water spout, and the other one is a big, I don't remember, crushing thing. There's the water spout. You can see the water spouts. I was fortunate on this particular run. On the run before this, I got bubbles at least once. On this run, I never got bubbles, and I didn't get any of the other mechanics until the very end. There's another mechanic where I think it's 3 pairs of players will get signs above their heads and a line between them, and they need to line up and on either side of the corals, and then eventually the boss will like shoot a laser between the targets, and it will destroy the corals and clear some of the room. So I will get one of those on me at the end of this fight, but we were already in execute burn phase, and so the call outs were just focus on burning the boss, don't worry about going back for the corals. So that's what we did. We just focus on burning the boss. See there, you can see the signs on it. Again, earlier I didn't have that issue. The key is the signs that are the same have to be across from each other from a coral. They try to crazy the goggles the lasers. The lasers do a lot of damage to your group if they're in front of them. you don't want to be in front of those lasers when they go out. I'm melee, so you're not seeing the whole room, unfortunately. You're just kind of seeing my position. And I don't know, I thought it was a kind of a fun fight. It was part of a pretty fun raid night. We had a lot of success that night, and we're hoping to have a lot of success in the future. I'm playing a warrior with a spear. Now, there are spears in the game, or polearms as they call them, but there are very few, and there's very few with strength on them. They're really polearms that are designed for like stat sticks for druids, but I normally play a druid. That's been my long-term WoW thing. However, this expansion, I was really frustrated I couldn't see all my Mog. I wanted to see my Mog, and so I was looking for what classes could I play with a spear, and as I went through them, you know, Paladin I could play with a spear, but I didn't really like all of the bright yellow spell effects, and I didn't like the race choices for Paladins. I really like the Worgen for the allied races, and second to that, a Night Elf, neither of which can play as a Paladin. You can play a Monk with a polearm, but the only one that really does it is the tank spec, and he doesn't really use it. It just sits on his back. You can play a Druid, but against a stat stick, because you're always in like cat form or bear form, so it's not really realistic, or not, it's just not, it has no visual gain. And you can play as Rabble Hunter, but it only uses like one swing with the polearm, and that's it. It's kind of boring, and I didn't like that. Also, you have to have a pet. I don't like pets. So I stuck with Arms Warrior, so I could be my polearm spear dude. I think it came out well. It has a couple different animations, 2 primary swings. I mean, it has several different spells, but the animations, there's 2 primary ones, and then there's a secondary one that pops up where you occasionally stab the target. But that one's actually pretty rare. I only noticed it when I was questing. But this is WoW. If you haven't seen WoW or played WoW before, this is WoW. Well, this is WoW rating. I think WoW is probably, it's a lot easier to get into now than it used to be. It's a lot more friendly now than it used to be, but there are a lot of WoW enthusiasts really are frustrated because they think the game's simpler than it should be, or, you know, it went away from having 80 different buttons or something. You know, now you only have like 12 different buttons and like 6 that you use in a rotation. So many. So it's some have more than that, some have less. Everybody has a different ideas. But unfortunately, WoW does have race class limitations. Some people believe that adds to the flavor, though, because it's, you know, you have to make definite choices. But I'd recommend it if you have a PC that's capable of gaming. I'd recommend WoW. You see, I got the effect there I was talking about, where the little lasers. But we are at like 3%, so we just went for the burn. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the update, and I will see you all around.